Let us see what this concept of the inner child is all about. We all have a psychological part of us which somehow remains disconnected from us. We are not aware of that psychological part of us. It's a very small part of us, and we have to learn to contact that part and to integrate it within our own personality. And in this video, we are going to see how we can do that and how we can have some awareness about this concept of the inner child. Before I continue this talk, I would like you to uh, subscribe to my channel and to like the video and to share it with people who might be interested in this topic. I'll be very happy if you could do that. I invite you to subscribe to my channel first. And please do like, share, and comment. I will be happy to answer any question that you have about this matter, because I have done a lot of inner child work and I have been able to help many, many people get relief from whatever is bothering them in their lives because of this inner child healing. So let us see what this inner child is all about. So when we are very small children, our conscious mind is not fully developed and our subconscious mind is wide open. Now, this is that stage of life when we are vulnerable. We don't understand things very well, and so we get an improper view of things. We look at our parents, they are sort of gods for us. They can never be wrong. We can be wrong. Our parents can never be wrong. This is the idea that a little child has. Suppose when we were children, and we saw our parents behaving in ways which were not very healthy emotionally, and if we had had that understanding at that time to know that, oh, these people are messed up and these people are going through their own things and they don't know what they are doing and they are not able to give me the kind of emotional response that I deserve to get. If only that child had had that much of skill, then many problems could have been averted. But what happens with us is that when we are children and we see our parents suffering, you may have seen a lot of fights within the family. You may have seen property disputes. You may have seen quarrels between your grandparents and your parents. You may have seen a very angry parent, a very angry, frustrated mother, a very angry, frustrated father, perhaps, and all kinds of anger issues, all kinds of dissatisfactions, all kinds of fights, all kinds of monetary issues, health issues, you name it, and all those things within the family. At that time, the child is not old enough to think, but the child is absolutely capable of feeling to a particular degree. Only to a very limited particular degree the child can feel, after which even the child will not be able to feel. It is sort of frozen. That kind of information of all those family quarrels and all that is frozen inside that child. And so now there is a disconnection. The child is going to hold on to that part, and this child will grow up. The child will grow up intellectually, it will grow up, the mind develops, the conscious mind develops. But this information, this emotional information related to the family and to the parents and all those caregivers in early childhood, that information is a kind of a frozen block within the child, and the child is going to hold on to it, and the child will not be aware of it. The child is not able to let go of it. Now, what has actually happened is that this is a block which belongs to the parents. But because the parents never addressed their emotions, they never questioned themselves, why is this happening to us? Why are we being treated so badly? Or why are we behaving in all these unhealthy ways? Why are we not able to give that kind of emotional security to our children? They don't even realize that they are not able to give their children that emotional support that that child requires. And the parents are so busy dealing with their own issues, they're trying to cope with it, and in that, the child gets left out. So now what happens is that the parents have not been able to look into their own issues. They have not been able to deal with those issues. And so now those issues have gone over to the children. The children are going to carry those issues. And as the children grow up in life, they will have the same kind of disturbed experiences, and they will have to struggle, and they'll have to try to cope with those experiences. They don't know from where it came. They become frustrated. Sometimes the problem is so severe because nobody knows from where it has come. The parents are clueless, the children are clueless. They start blaming people around them. They start blaming destiny, fate, God. They lose faith in God. All kinds of things happen. But the one thing that doesn't happen is, okay, there is a small child part within me. The parents are not able to think this, that there is a small child part within me, and that child part is all those blocked emotions that I have never attended to. And because I have not attended to those emotions, now I am seeing that inner child of mine, which means that psychological part of me reflected in my children. You'll have to look at it this way. You've got a black spot here. You're looking into the mirror and you can see the face reflected there. You can see the black spot reflected there. And you're taking a rag and you're trying to rub the face reflected in the mirror. That face reflected in the mirror is not going to get clean. You've got to rub the rag here and remove that spot from here. If you want to see a change in your children's condition, you will have to explore your inner world. You will have to look at that tiny frozen part of you. That tiny frozen part of you is that inner child. It is carrying so many wounds. What are those wounds? All those childhood difficult situations, difficult emotions, unprocessed emotional information. It has become such a huge mess within the child that even though the child is intelligent, grows up, does well in life in some areas, there will be some areas where the child will take a very, things will take a very bad turn. And this child is likely to have to cope with very many difficult situations. And those things can only change when parents take responsibility for it. Or when you yourself take responsibility. Okay, your parents are very old, they are not in a position to do anything. But today you are old enough to explore your own feelings. You are old enough to go deep within you, do the self work, learn to do some exercises to contact your inner child. That inner child is not a child, that inner child is a psychological part of you. A part of you which is feeling lonely, which is feeling unworthy, which is feeling a deep sense of shame and rejection, which is still grieving, but it has not been able to express those emotions appropriately, and it has not been able to process those emotions, which means that we as adults have not been able to look into our childhood emotions, and we have not been able to address those emotions. We have not been able to process those emotions. So we are carrying those wounds. That is the wounded inner child. So what does the wounded inner child do? When we become adults and we go out to our particular areas of life, it could be a relationship, it could be marriage, it could be a job, it could be career, it could be finances, it could be health, it could be anything. Whatever caused that wound to you at that very early stage, that becomes a kind of a defense mechanism within you. So now you're carrying a lot of memories and a lot of pain with regard to all that. And when you set out in life, something will trigger you. And once you get triggered, that whole bunch of emotions which you had not been able to process in childhood, which you're holding on to, that will get activated within you. And once that happens, it will become your responsibility to look into those emotions, to deal with those emotions, to somehow do something to process those emotions so that you're able to integrate that feeling part of you with the thinking part of you. Much of the information that this inner child carries is in the nature of wounds. We'll be looking at the wounded inner child in one of these forthcoming videos, and we will see exactly what those wounds are and how those wounds can be addressed later on in life, whether we want to heal ourselves or we want to heal our parents, because now we are old enough to do that, or we want to heal our children. It all depends. What we need to remember is that we are basically souls. So, all this, my parent and I'm the child and my children, this is a family of souls which has come together. So, one person can take the initiative, do the self work, and like magic, everyone else around gets healed. This is the beauty of this inner child work. This is the beauty of that self work which I am inviting you to do.